I am Ray, and here is why you should not be afraid of World War III. You see, it's funny how we tend to dramatize the ending of the world, but every day is the end of somebody's world. In fact, the end of all of our worlds is certain. So why would we fear that which is inevitable? It only serves to stress us out. But that's not really the point of this video. The point is to help you remember that God is always in control, that it doesn't matter who runs the world. It doesn't matter if it's the reptilians, or if it's the demons, or if it's Satan himself. There is nothing in this existence that occurs without the permission of God. All things occur under the jurisdiction of God. But the problem is the forces of darkness manipulate people into allowing the fear in. And when we allow the fear in, we feed the forces of darkness. But without our energy, without our fear, worry, concern, without our negative thoughts, the forces of darkness have no power. They have the illusion of power. The people in charge of this world, they have no power, but we feed them our power by believing in their manipulations, in their illusions. And you see, the more we can stop allowing the fear in, the higher we can raise the collective consciousness. And when the collective consciousness rises past a certain threshold, the planet becomes inhospitable to these lower frequency behaviors, like war, like extreme selfishness. And so the future of humanity is in our hands. The war between good and evil is fought in your heart. God does not give you the spirit of fear. Only when we get distracted by the illusion of this world do we allow the fear in. It's like the scene in The Chosen when Jesus and the disciples are in a great storm in the ocean, and Jesus calls Peter to walk off the boat. And when Peter's focus is on Jesus, he walks on water. But when he gets distracted and starts looking around at the chaos, at the storm, the fear causes him to sink. Only when he directs his focus back toward Jesus is Peter saved once again. And in the same way, the more we look at the world and all of its drama, all of its chaos, the more we get pulled into fear and lower states of being. And yet when we take our focus and point it pointedly toward God, there are no problems. There are no worries or concerns or fears, because you know everything is perfect. Everything is already taken care of. All of your problems have already been solved. All of your struggles have already been overcome. But most do not see this because they are too distracted by the world. As it has been said, those who look at the world do not see God, and those who look at God do not see the world. And so that is the choice you have. You either allow the fear in by entertaining their fear-mongering, their news headlines. We have to remember that fear sells. The entire business of marketing is designed on poking at your fears to get you to believe in a certain narrative. And with that belief, we manifest tragedy in the world, because we are all individually creating our realities. And if the forces of darkness can manipulate enough people to believe the same narrative, the forces of darkness can use our power to create tragedy, to bring darkness into the world. And all that is required is that you stop entertaining that fear. You do not need to fight the darkness. That would be like being in a dark room and throwing punches all around. All that you would do is exhaust yourself, when in reality, all that is required is that you turn on the lights. And what power does the darkness have while in the presence of the light? So the fate of the world is in our hands. How much will we allow fear, worry, concern, shame, guilt, hate, resentment, We allow the poison in, and it begins to kill us. Like a vampire that has to ask for your permission to enter your home, so too we allow the demons in. So be not afraid. Turn your eyes toward the light, and the darkness will no longer concern you. For the sake of everybody you love. Because when one person is drowning, they cannot save another drowning person. And most people are drowning in the illusion of this world. Ignorance of the true nature of things. People are trapped in the matrix. They're trapped in Maya. They suffer in this nightmare. And I am here to say, you are dreaming. This fear is an illusion. It's not real. Just as if you could be dreaming the worst nightmare and be so afraid, but when you wake up, it's all over. As if it never happened in the first place. And you realize that you were always free, that you were never in trouble, and that there was nothing to fear. But if you do not wake up, then you cannot help but allow the fear in. And the way we begin waking up is realizing that everything is God's divine plan. That everything is an expression of God. And that, like in the book of Eli, you could be living in a hostile wasteland with bad people everywhere, with death and destruction and suffering, and yet you will be guided through the noise and be led to the greatest possible expression of your life, but only through your unconditional and unwavering faith. Remember, fear is nothing but false evidence appearing real. You are safe, you are secure, you are protected, and there is nothing in this universe that has any power over you without your permission. We all have the power to change the world, to create a more loving and harmonious world free from so much suffering. And it all begins with turning on the lights and not allowing the fear in. To focus on God and to not focus on this world. To focus on what is good and to take our attention away from what is evil. I am Ray. Feel free to share this video with someone you know who is afraid. Much peace and many blessings.